My name is Chana Littlejohn. I remember when the Yankees come. I remember when the soldiers come and had tents in Master's yard before they went off to the breastworks. My mother was hired out before they surrendered and had to leave her two children at home on Master's plantation. When she come home Christmas, he told her she would not have to go back anymore. She could stay at home. This was the last year of the war, and he told her she would soon be free. My eyes, they mighty bad. The doctor said he would work on them if somebody in the agriculture building would pay it. I can't see at all out of one eye, and the other is bad. I don't reckon I was 10 years old when the Yankees come, but I was running around, and I can remember all this. Guess I was about 8 years old. I was born in Warren County, near Warrenton. I belonged to Peter Mitchell. He was a long, tall man. There were about 100 slaves on the plantation. My missus was named Laura. Mother always called me Old Betsy when she was mad at me. Bessie was Massa Peter's mother. I remember seeing her. She was a big old fat woman with white hair. She gave biscuits to all the children on Saturdays. And she also looked out for the slave children on Sunday. My father was named Marcellus Littlejohn, and my mother was named Susan Littlejohn. We had gardens and patches and plenty to eat. We also got the holidays. Massa bought charcoal from the men, which they burnt at night and on holidays. They worked and made the stuff, and Massa would let them have the stair carts and the wagons to carry their corn and charcoal to sell it in town. Yes, sir, this was mighty nice. We had plank houses. There was not but one log house on the plantation. Massa lived in the big house. It had about 8 porches on it. There was no churches on the plantation, and I don't remember any prayer meetings. When we sang, we'd turn the wash pots and the tubs in the door so they would take up the noise so the white folks could not hear us. I do remember the gatherings at our home to pray for the Yankees to come. All the niggas thought the Yankees had blue bellies. The old house cook got so happy. At one of these meetings, she ran out in the yard and called, "Blue bellies, come on! Blue bellies, come on!" They caught her and carried her back into the house. And when the overseer whipped one of the niggas, he made all the slaves sing. Show pity, Lord. Oh, Lord, forgive. Show pity, Lord. Oh, Lord, forgive. And when they sang a while, he would call out one and whip them. He had to sing for everyone he whooped. Massa growed up with the niggas and he didn't like to whoop them. If they sass him, he would put spit in their eyes and say, "Now I reckon you will mind how you sass me." We had a lot of game and possums. And when we had game, Massa left the big house and he come down and eat with us. And when Massa wasn't off drunk on a spree, he spent a lot of time with the slaves. He treated all alike. His slaves were all niggers. There were no half-white chillins there. Massa would not let us work until we were about 13 years old. Then he put us to plowing in soft land and the men in the rough land. But some of the women, they played off sick and went home and washed and ironed and got by with it. The overseer tried to make two of them go back to work though. They flew at him and they whipped him. And he told the master when he come home, master said, "Did you allow them women to whip you?" "Yes," he replied. Then master told him, "If women could whip you, I don't want you." Yep, he said if the women could whip him, he didn't want him. But he let him stay on. His name was Jack Rivers. And he was hired by the master. Master River did not have any slaves. There was no jail on the plantation. In case when the overseer whipped their nigger, he didn't need any jail. And the black folks better not be caught with a book. But one of the children at our plantation, Master Peter Mitchell's sister had taught Aunt Isabella to read and write. And during the war, she would read and she'd tell us how everything was going. Tom Mitchell, a slave, sass master. Master told him he would not whip him, but he would sell him. Tom's brother, Henry, told him if he was left, he would run away. So the master sold both. And he carried them to Richmond to sell them. And he sold them on the auction block there way down on Broad Street. And when they put Tom on the auction block, they found Tom had a broken leg and the master didn't get much. He didn't get much for him. He wanted to get enough for these two grown settled men to buy two young men. Tom was married. He was sold from his wife and children's. Massa didn't get enough for him to pay for these two young boys, though. He had to pay the difference in the money. And these boys, they were about 21 or 22 years old. And when the master got back with him, the overseer told him he had ruined his plantation. And the boys soon become sick with yellow fever, and both died. And they strode around, and many died. Master sure made a mess of things that time. Dr. Ben Wilson of Warren County was Master Mitchell's brother-in-law. He tended the sick folks, and he made many trips. Sometimes, as soon as he got home, they sent for him again. We played mumble peg and hopscotch when I was a child. We played jumping the rope a lot, too. I've never been married. I had only one brother, and he's been dead 6 years. Since he died, I've had a hard time making a living. Brother John lived with me until he died. I had only one sister. She died many years ago. I think slavery was mighty hard and wrong. I joined the church because I had religion, and the church would help me keep it. People should be religious so they will have a place in the beyond. Abraham Lincoln, he was a good man. I have his picture. I think Mr. Roosevelt is a good, God-fearing man. When he gets sick, I praise for him. When he is sick, I is just as scared as I can be. I pray for him to stay well.